In the ring we stand tall, words are blades that never fall. Debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean. Spirited mind sharp and keen. With a spark that lights the night. Join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts clean. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Dive in deep and search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts clean. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Dive in deep and search for more. In the ring we stand tall, words are blades that never fall. Debate like warriors brave, every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean, spirited minds sharp and keen. With a spark that lights the night, join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena there's no chance to escape the vibrant lore. Dive in deep and search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Heard. Will be heard. Will be heard.
What is going on, everybody? We're back at it with another stream, another live. Of course, you're at Spartan Institute Network. I am your host, Ghost of Sparta, excuse me. And of course, I can't do this by myself. I got my boys in the back. Before we get these guys in here, please do me a favor, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. It will help me, the channel, and everybody else. Let's get the first guy in here. He is my man, the most reckless person in the world. We're talking about Reckless Ray. What's
good,
up, buddy?
everybody? What's going
Going
on, man? What's going on?
nothing much. You ready for this
I'm
juicy
I'm
topic?
I'm ready. I think this is gonna be an interesting one.
Let's see how many people argue. But before we get into the arguments and the screaming, let's get the most interesting man in the world, our famous Master Garut. Oh, how cute a little finger there. The little finger. How cute.
This thing can lift your body weight, so I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
you wish.
He's-
Hey, don't try. Forget I'm
Yeah.
African. We lift heavy stuff.
Sure, you lift heavy things. That's what they all say.
And later on, you wonder why all the women are jumping to Africa to get some of the heavy lifting. Uh-huh. Okay, then.
Anyway, so what's going on, guys? How is everybody tonight?
Man,
I was about to say, I think that's the general vibe. It's at least warm here, though, so it's not cold where I'm at anymore.
It's actually getting warm, and it's a weird weather for this time of year. But usually, when it gets too warm, it means a big storm's coming our way.
Well, it's pretend spring. That's what we call it.
Yeah.
the
So,
quiet before the storm. Yeah, I know.
Right.
so guys, let me see your opening thoughts. You go right first because you always have something to say. Is love is not sex, sex is not love. Go for it.
I mean, we've been talking about this in these spaces for literal ages. Literal ages. The entire conversation of like, you know, if you never get to see the light of day, but you get busted down at 3 a.m. if homeboy had a bad night at the club and didn't pull nothing. Um it's just what it is. Like, no, it's at least for men, no, it's not. Like it's just not. I will throw one caveat in, and it's one of the things that, I mean, those of you who are millennials, because I'm a what is it, a geriatric millennial? I think we were the last generation that got told this, though. But like, I had an uncle who told me, like, we would be playing in the neighborhood and he'd be like, yo, don't be hanging around them fat girls. I was like, why? We're just playing. He was like, don't hang around them because you're gonna end up liking them. Next thing you know, you're gonna be running around with fat girls. So it's kind of the same thing. It's like, if you're doing it a bunch, then like, yeah, it can turn into something else. But if you're not, and it's just like a one and done, or like you just did it a couple of times, like, no, it's not anything else besides what, like, it's just sex at that point. And people try to make things what it's not. And I don't know. Like, I just think it's crazy that this is still a conversation piece. It's wild to me.
I'm just speechless what I just heard just now. Hearing that reckless way uncle told him we hang out with fat girl, you end up like being around them. I was like, huh? I'm like, okay, what's going on here? What is my thought? Interesting. The topic right there is why I've tried to avoid this show, but I got no choice. Be here in this present. It is. Can I call it an area or domain or twilight zone or shithole or madness? I'm not sure what to call it. Sex is not what you think it is. Love is not what you think it is in this story that's called the United States of Broken America. Uh, where there are virus systems far worse than the gutter, far worse than the toilet system that is. I don't know what they call anything anymore, to be honest with you, to be quite frank. I thought to wonder maybe I've been punked on this in this country for more than 30 years. I wasn't meant to be in this madness called the United States of America. Well, left me right when right mean left, when up mean down, then down mean up. Well, yes mean no, and no mean yes. where they say you have from two sex to 72 other sex. So, to be honest with you, living in this God forsaken, deity forsaken, the extreme bottom of the barrel forsaken nation, I don't know what you call it anymore, to be honest with you. I'm trying to keep my sanity since about a huge majority of the people in the country is completely insane. All I can say is if you don't read, you're useless. If you don't do your homework, you're useless. If you're extremely gullible, you're a guinea pig. Other than that, what you would call love, I would have to say you need to check your psychiatrist, check to see if you're mentally correct or not. What you would call sex, I would ask the doctor to make sure you're not contaminated. So I don't know what to tell you. That is my thought process right now, to be perfectly fair. From what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what's been going on around me in New York and neighboring states and across the country, I thought to wonder maybe it's time to get the hell out of this twilight zone. I don't know. You tell me. That's my thought.
So one thing I want to mention is there is a difference between sex and making love, and people don't understand that. And we need to have that conversation. Yeah, fuck you, David. Before you get there, oh, we're gonna go there in a minute. Don't worry, we will go
I
there.
I didn't know we were domestic partner already.
Oh man, I gotta do this already. Where?
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
All right, I'm gonna play the first video, and I know some other guys are coming in a minute. Get it going here.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I've been unleashed already.
David, shut up.
Is there a difference between sex and making love? Fundamentally, there's a huge difference. You can be having sex and there can be no love involved. Making love is different to having sex. Making love means that you're connected to the person that you're engaging with. And that means that you're not hiding yourself. Like when it comes down to it, if you're truly making love, as in physically having sex, it's a really vulnerable moment. But a lot of people that are having sex, it's not vulnerable. Like they're putting on a show, they're trying to show the body in the best light. And it's like, that's having sex, but it's not making love because you're not fully, truly being your open, vulnerable self. So to be that can be pretty scary, which is why a lot of people have sex, but they don't make love. If you're going to make love, then you're fully there in that moment, even if it's vulnerable, even if it's like, oh, this is a bit awkward, but you're fully there and engaging there with your partner as you're doing that. So it's gorgeously vulnerable and not predictable, and it's not going to look like it looks on the movies. And that doesn't matter. It's way, way better, something way better than that. Just as importantly, though, is to make love, it's not just about getting into bed and doing the sexual act. There's a whole lot that leads up to that. So how are you treating the person the rest of the day? Because you can be treating them like with disregard and I don't really care and let's rush with this and have you done this and have you got the kids doing this and then jump into bed and have sex. That's just sex. Making love means during the day, have you taken the time to go, how are you doing? What's going on for you? Anything I can help you with? Oh, I loved that you did that. Like there's appreciation, there's generosity, there's care in the way you treat them. So that then when you go to bed together and then when you touch, like you're present in your touch, they're there present in their touch. And how yummy is that? That's then making love. That's truly gorgeous. Way better than sex, anytime.
Okay, Ray, you can go first. I already see your smoke in there.
No, I, you know what? I don't hate that. And I mean, she's explaining it from like a woman's perspective. So, like, I can't argue that at all. I think women get there before men do. But I think what she said has credence. I mean, it's the same premise I tell dudes. Like, if you don't start fucking your scooter every day, because you're going to end up falling in love with that bitch. It's the truth. Like, if you got a 3 a.m. slammy and you start smashing it all the time, you going to start giving a fuck. And then stuff's going to get weird because now you got to bring your scooter out during the day. Your friends are going to make fun of you. It's going to be terrible. Which is why I advocate not having to be in that realm of existence any longer than you have to. Because, like, as a man coming up, we all go through it. It's what it is. You're going to have a 3 a.m. when the bar don't let out. You're going to have that one old faithful that's just waiting to catch it. She's going to be there for you. But you hit it too many times. As you stare into the abyss stares into you. And that's just something that we should all remember. But no, what she said was pretty much on point. I think it was on point, especially since it was a woman who was giving that statement from her perspective. The thing that I will say is I think women get there way faster than men when it comes to sex versus love. Because, like, you can be fucking a chick and she can be making love to you. Though that's the differentiator that I see is, like, from that perspective, all those things are true. Women that you engage with on a regular basis, dudes can be like, I don't give a fuck. They give a fuck if you're engaging with it on a regular basis. Like, I understand dudes will get up on these panels and they'll be like, oh, I don't give a fuck about that bitch. And be like, you fucked her every day last month. Like, every fucking day. Like, what are you talking about? And if she says no, you sitting around pouting. Like, if she can't make the appointment. So, yes, like, I think for dudes, you can get away with it for a while if it's like something that you're like keeping at a distance and keeping at arm's reach intentionally, or you're just upfront about your availability at the beginning. Because, like, you can make love to people who you're not going to be in a relationship with. Like, you can actually, it's okay, guys, to give a fuck about chicks that you're having sex with and not be a complete animal. I'm just saying. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Like, you can have, like, if you're not going to get the end result you want from a relational standpoint, like, y'all ain't got to lie to kick it. People have needs, and you can care about the people that you're fucking. It's okay. It's okay. Like, I digress.
David?
Interesting. Cynthia, what's her name? Richmond? With 520 describing, we're not going to see the blowing it. She gave it a description between lovemaking and sex. Yet we in a nation that blur the boundaries or the moral war to let her have a deep understanding of that, whereby, God forbid, you can be effing a woman, but you think you're lovemaking her. You can be lovemaking a woman, and she may think you just effing her. It's like, it's so freaking confusing. Well, you and I both know this very, very well. Every woman are not the same. What they consider lovemaking, we may consider it fucking. And what they consider fucking, we may consider it lovemaking. Since we chose not to listen to our elders anymore, we think we know everything that goes on in the universe. And those kind of people are more than likely brain dead, stupid, incomplete, lack of common sense, insight, and wisdom. They got nothing but air in their brain cell with a little bullshit hanging to the left side or the right side, a bunch of BS. And we wonder why we have so many broken homes and families. Yet the generation have a deeper grasp of what love is and what love is not, what love making is, what is sex is. But we're in an era whereby we got adult male, I can't call them men. Like I said, I keep to the category correctly. We have adult males who sling their ding like it's a baseball bat for a club and try to knock out many home runs as possible, but not realize they created too much dilemma and confusion. And women, correction, adult female, when they want to be Italian because they have been betrayed, they decide to play the same game, the same bullshit back to other unsurprising adult males who haven't taken time to know who they are as an individual. So we have this confusion whereby we trying to tell what love is or what love is not, what love making is or what effort is not. Fucking with us. We're so confused right now. It's almost like we're numbing it. It's amazing that this is the topic we're talking about, and I saw a clip of how a woman came back and she got mad because she was on. So what is Cynthia? This Cynthia G, whatever her name is, the one with the fake ass wig that got to keep.
Jesus Christ.
She got show when she was there early before a few months ago or so. Said she the one with 5 kids by 5 baby dads that she wasn't desperate. Now, if you would have sit her on the hot seat and asked her this question, were you making love or were you fucking that lead to 5 kids?
Hmm.
What would she tell you? Did the black David Yellow understand or realize the kind of person I am? I will put you on the extreme hot seat that you require for your creator to save your ass from me. So explain to me how will you understand what love is or what fucking is, but it's okay to be a post office and pop out babies like you
Motion
popping out
detected at the
Amazon
entryway doorbell.
package. I'm trying to understand that we got the fake travel one never worked for a travel agency before in our life, never flied out before in our life, give commentary and say like I'm angry. No, I'm not really angry. I'm just kind of in a space whereby I'm trying to understand why so many female very damn stupid, but refuse to listen to your elders when they're trying to save you from your own stupidity, but you choose not to. And she's making a great point, Cynthia. I can't really say. Since we're in society, we pass our sex like a recreational sport. When you're so numb to it, how can you differentiate the difference between either of the two when you can't restrain for it for a good month or so? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. If a guy go without it for a month or 2 or 3, he go haywire like he's a drug addict. If a woman go without it for 6 months to a year, she have to question herself if something's wrong with me or not. Why do I have craving for my crazy ass ex? Now, the third thing to put in, you have sex. No, let me rephrase it. You have lovemaking, you have sex, and you have addiction. Why not addiction not put in the equation? 9 times out of 10, a lot of these broken women rather revert back to the person who broke their back and reprogram their brain cell after they hit a couple of centuries. Yeah, it ain't applied to the men. No, no, correction, adult male. And no adult man can gaslight me and say that is not true. Oh, I'm sorry. They're afraid when she put it on you and she got you screaming like a bitch. And you were mourning like you never felt anything like this in your goddamn life. She got you so strong that you cannot stop thinking about her when you're at your job. You feel some kind of way when you see her talking to another dude. You're like, yo, that's my, yeah. Yeah, keep playing yourself. Um, Women, y'all worse than guys. Not only he broke your back, he messed up your sensory. You can't really think straight. Your leg is shaking some kind of way. Anytime you come near him, you feel like you about to pass the fuck out because you feel like he might do it again on you. He make you speak a different language when he hit that nerve. And you never had anything like that in your life. You're not sure if you're sprung or reprogrammed or you got brainwashed. So how will you differentiate between love making, fucking, and addiction? You tell me.
All right, guys. Before we move on, I want to give a big shout out to North Tooth Man. Again, if you have a beard, go check him out. His stuff is good. David, he might have some product to help you grow a beard finally. And puberty is around the corner for you.
If I grow a beard, I'll be scary looking.
The really are scary, like when you talk about. Um, it is a difference between sex slash fucking versus making love. You cannot argue that. Even for men, if you're in love with somebody, it becomes more passionate. You don't think about, oh, she has a nice ass. I want to fuck. No, no, you don't think of that anymore. You think about that ass. You think that, yes, Ray, I said it.
What?
You don't think so?
Okay, finish. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I just got real confused. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
When you're in love with somebody, you only think about her. Usually something goes wrong in the relationship when you start, saying it was sexless marriage or you're not getting enough or whatever the case is when you go to that route. But when you're going after the one woman, it's not fucking, is
That's
you see her in a pair of freaking sweatpants, like, okay, let's go. But when you're just fucking, it's just like, you don't give a shit. You want to get it in and get out and go.
that. I don't know. I think that's you're isolating down to like I'm in love with this woman versus making love. Like you can make love, dude. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe it's just because like I'm good at sex. So I like no. Look, the goal is so you've never made love to somebody that you were like, I'm not going to be in a relationship with this person ever in your life.
Oh, I have.
Okay, so you're not going to be in a relationship with this person, but like you have feelings for them and y'all are hooking up. So you giving them the quality strokes, right?
Correct.
At which point you would still see somebody and be like, look at that ass. I want to hit that. Like what like
Yeah, but I made it perfectly clear to her I'm not going to be in a serious relationship with you. That's the difference.
100%. But in that scenario, what you just said.
I'm talking about in a scenario you're actually in a relationship.
Okay, so if I'm in a relationship, I'm not looking at other asses, period, even if I'm not making love to the bitch I'm in a relationship with. Because I'm in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, I just, like, that's the thing that I don't understand. Like, I don't look at chicks like they're the last bitch on the planet. Like, it's just not in me, bro. Like, I know that we live on a planet full of chicks, and I know that I'm medium ugly. So some of them will fuck me. So I don't understand. I don't understand. Yeah, that means the rest of y'all motherfuckers are ugly, ugly. All right. So
Are
I
you
don't
fucking too?
understand where, like, why. So this is my deal. If I can't get to a space to where I could make love to a chick, why would I remove all possibilities of me finding somebody that I'm actually sexually compatible with to isolate with said chick and have mediocre nuts the rest of my life when I can have good nuts
And you
right
wonder why
now?
I put the word addiction in the equation. Because we talk about what's the difference between love making and fucking. What happened to the addiction part? Get my point?
I mean, I don't even think it's an addiction. Like, I don't know if it's because I'm old, but like, I don't really give a shit anymore at this point. Like, I really don't care. Like, at this juncture in my life, bro, like, I'm focused on getting money. and then like I have some free time and like I enjoy the company that I keep, right? But the I just don't understand the logic of these dudes putting their dick in something and then being like, I gotta lock this down even though I don't like it, and then being out here trying to fuck everybody else after you made an agreement with somebody that you weren't gonna fuck anybody else. Like it just
One of
doesn't
the
make
problems
sense
with
to me.
that, one of the
And
biggest
that's what
problems
I
with
was trying
that,
to tell you. Addiction. It's like a drug addiction because even though you put it in that way, they feel like this. I don't consider myself an adjustable chick. I consider myself a plain cook. Think I'm the hottest thing now because first and foremost,
thank
look
God.
is superficial to me now these days. I think that way because I realize too many people are so full of themselves. I mean, they haven't taken a crap in a long time. So they'll think, oh, I'm a 10. No, nigga, you fucked up in the head. You going to see a psychiatrist for that shit. And I'm humble with myself. So when I
Sure.
see egotistic people, I look at them as sick patients. I do. Because I go around people who got too much ego and pride and have a very unique smell that comes up above their body. It's very irritating. So I don't like prideful people around me. The one people who can never show their face, like Chava One. You ever know when she look like adjustable one? She could be an open worker well.
Why?
I'm
Why?
sorry. I call it as I see it. I'm not afraid to show
Bro.
who I am 1000% each and every day. But if you gotta hide behind a avatar and want to talk shit about me, then you making me feel proud or you full of shit anyway. As I was saying, you didn't mention a key point I was trying to point out from my little monologue. We talked about what the difference between love making and fucking, but we keep forgetting that other type called addiction. So how can a guy say he wanna lock this girl down, right?
Yeah.
Correct. But yet, every big booty he see, every wide hip he see, any curve he see, he got to dick that one down. So this is no longer love making or fuck. It's more of an addiction that he's serving or he dealing. Just like you have crackhead, who can I help them to you gotta get that money to get that hookup, right? That little. Then we know addicts who you got a woman at home. She can be misfaithful and everything. But for some reason, you can't help yourself, but you want to throw your hard work in any bucket you see.
I don't know. I
All
just
right,
think
hang
that
on
I think
one
that
second, guys. Let's get
oh,
this guy in here because I know
all right.
he's, yeah, I know he has something to preach in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen,
Women
please rise
safety.
for the president. Mr. President, how are
Before
you
me to be,
tonight?
before
What's
me to
good,
benefit
gentlemen?
anything, let me drop a comment. Trevor one say I'm a bully. I'm not a bully. I'm the boogeyman. I'm here to haunt your nightmare. Okay?
Oh my god.
Thank you.
Um, can I say one thing also? What
Yeah,
you're
go ahead.
describing
Finish
is
what you're
just a
saying, and I
lack.
had Paul. Go ahead. Go in after that.
Oh, okay. I was just saying what you just described, David, is a lack of discipline. Like I look at that, and those are just undisciplined men. They have no restraint. Like if you give in to every compulsion that you have, then like you literally out here just living life like a beast, which is fine, whatever. But like let's call it what it is. Like you live your life like an animal, and like you have no control, no restraint, and no discipline. That's a character flaw.
And wouldn't that be addiction as well? Because the same thing that applies to people who do drugs and alcohol.
hundred
The
percent. But
same.
like you could be
Okay.
addicted to masturbating, and then you ain't harming nobody but your own dick. Like I mean, honestly, like what
Yeah.
you? But that's the thing. Psychologically, addiction isn't specific. It's addiction. So like you can. So like a lot of your people who are like workaholics, CEOs, super high producers, they're addicts too. They focus the addiction. They use it. So, like, honestly, if you got to bust down everything you see, then just start beating your dick up with your hand, and then you don't got to worry about cheating. I'm just saying, there's a solution for every fucking problem if you're creative. Like, what are you going to do? Maybe get better at your job, get your bags up. Because most dudes that are chasing chicks like that are also broke. There's a bunch of shit you could work on. Use that
That's a good
addiction for
point.
good. Like,
All right.
That's a good,
Before we
that's a
go
good
move on.
argument.
All right, Paul. The topic tonight is sex is not love, love is not sex. I already played one video. I don't know if you caught that.
I didn't.
I'm gonna replay it and I have you do your open and unlock in a second. Let me just set it up for you.
Is there a difference between sex and making love? Fundamentally, there's a huge difference. You can be having sex and there can be no love involved. Making love is different to having sex. Making love means that you're connected to the person that you're engaging with. And that means that you're not hiding yourself. Like when it comes down to it, if you're truly making love, as in physically having sex, it's a really vulnerable moment. But a lot of people that are having sex, it's not vulnerable. Like they're putting on a show, they're trying to show the body in the best light. And it's like, that's having sex, but it's not making love because you're not fully, truly being your open, vulnerable self. So to be that can be pretty scary, which is why a lot of people have sex, but they don't make love. If you're going to make love, then you're fully there in that moment, even if it's vulnerable, even if it's like, oh, this is a bit awkward, but you're fully there and engaging there with your partner as you're doing that. So it's gorgeously vulnerable and not predictable, and it's not going to look like it looks on the movies. And that doesn't matter. It's way, way better, something way better than that. Just as importantly, though, is to make love, it's not just about getting into bed and doing the sexual act. There's a whole lot that leads up to that. So how are you treating the person the rest of the day? Because you can be treating them like with disregard and I don't really care and let's rush with this and have you done this and have you got the kids doing this and then jump into bed and have sex. That's just sex. Making love means during the day, have you taken the time to go, how are you doing? What's going on for you? Anything I can help you with? Oh, I loved that you did that. Like there's appreciation, there's generosity, there's care in the way you treat them. So that then when you go to bed together and then when you touch, like you're present in your touch, they're there present in their touch. And how yummy is that? That's then making love. That's truly gorgeous. Way better than sex, anytime.
You're muted. You're still muted.
For
You're
me?
muted.
Sorry.
muted.
Our shortest marine in the world. So let Bossman go really fast because he has a very few minutes with us, and then you take over, Paul. Go ahead, Bossman.
Well, good day, everybody. I have a strong opinion about this, and maybe it's a little unorthodox, but here we go. I do not personally believe that there's a such thing as making love. Yeah, I said it. All right. And the reason why I say this is because there seems to be this conflation of the conjoining of the performative action of sex with the intangible portion of the feelings, of the mixture of feelings of what love tangentially actually is. I don't have enough time to actually go into what I think actually love is, but love, sex within itself is nothing more than just a performative action between two people, consenting people. Obviously, we're just going to talk on the consenting aspect of it. Okay. And if you can actually have sex with someone that you don't love, then it's possible to also have sex with someone that you do. Okay. So it's hard to splice the difference. Especially if you are married to someone or if you're in a long-term relationship with someone, then you have to ask the question that of all the times that you actually engage sexually with someone that you are in a relationship with or that you're married to or in that serious companionship with, right? Then you have to ask the question, what's the difference between lovemaking and the times that you were just having sex? And the hard question is, you really can't, because in actuality, you're just having sex. The difference there is that you're having sex with someone that you have a connection with, in a sense, right? Okay. So to me, I personally do not think that while the actual action of having sex, that you can then change the difference of making love, turning the actual action of sex into making love and making it a difference, right? So to me, I personally think that adding love into sex complicates it, and it makes it something more than what it actually is. Okay. So here we go. Sex in itself is nothing more than performative, and it's an exchange of an action with someone that someone actually gets something out of it for the most part. Okay. And that is the same whether you're in a relationship with someone or not in a relationship with someone, correct? Now, and I think this is where some people actually get confused when it comes to if someone cheats, because then the first thing that happens is that, oh, well, how are you able to have sex with this person if you don't love them? Or if you love me, then how can you have sex with somebody else? And then this is where the truth begins to come out of the aspect of people are able to actually engage in sex with other people, even if you do or don't love someone. Okay. And this is where the differences between men and women start to come in, of women being able to engage with someone even if they don't love them, or men are able to compartmentalize even if they do, love them or love the woman, or so on and so forth, right? This is when we start having these parallel conversations about the differences of how men operating versus men operating, and so on and so forth. It's much easier to understand if we just understand that sex performatively is just what it is. It is just sex. And there's no possible way to splice the difference between lovemaking and sex, because there's no such thing as just lovemaking performatively within the confines of just sex in itself. Okay? If that makes any sense to anybody. Now, as far as the reasons
I
why,
agree with our argument.
I've got a strong opinion about this when you're done.
okay, go ahead.
Like, so what you're saying is viscous innards is just viscous innards. That's what you're getting at here.
Correct.
Okay, so if you were to take your wife, for instance, throw a sheet over, pop a hole in that motherfucker, and then fuck your wife, and then we just swap your wife out with anyone else, you'd be like, yep, same shit. Like, really?
So
Really? You're telling me that if you just got taken over by the animal spirits and just ran up on a different fat booty than the one that belongs to you, that you gonna give that fat booty the same performance that you give your wife?
So I'll explain.
That is wild.
So I'll explain. So yes, it means something to me. So every time my wife and I have sex, it means something to me because of the connection that her and I have.
You're telling me it doesn't feel any different than any sex you've ever had. The sex that you have right now with the person you love.
Hang on. I'll answer the question. It means something to me, yes, because of who she is. But the fact that I'm having sex, it's still sex.
Okay, so we obviously have two different forms of the tism, bro. Because I cannot even fathom that.
Because understand this, and here's why I say this is going to sound really wild, but understand this. So even in marriage, okay?
Yeah.
If it was not the case, then a wife couldn't come to a husband and say, hey, I want you to change up the way that you do something. I want you to give it to me, but give it to me differently. If it was solely off of the fact that I'm in love with you and your love making is enough, and it wasn't performative, but it
Uh-huh.
was just because of the fact that you are making love to me, and the action wasn't the action, but it was the feeling from the action. Does that make sense?
That does sort of, but like
Okay.
I'm still circling around this
Hold on.
because I understand what
You
you're
got it?
saying, but
Okay.
that's a pleasure center thing, and she's like, I want you to give me that pleasure.
Okay.
That's different.
Okay. So
It's,
then
that'd be, but then to go, hey babe, just go lay down with any other motherfucker with a dick
no,
and get him to do it.
no.
And have her be like, oh yeah, like that just be like fucking
So
fine. Like
so the difference. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is that the difference between me having sex with my wife versus me having sex with someone else is that I care about her. I don't care about the other person. I love this person. I don't love her. Okay. But sex performatively is still just sex.
God, I'm having a problem reconciling this, and I think it's probably because the way that you're laying this out sounds very on the spectrum, and the way that I'm processing what you're saying is definitely on the spectrum because of the way my brain works. So, I'm just like,
So what I'm trying to get at, what I'm trying to get at and understand, get you to
Yeah.
understand is that it's possible to understand that you can care and love. Love is the gateway for you to have feelings about the person that you are going to have sex with.
okay,
Okay. Love charges the sex, but sex doesn't charge the love.
fair, okay, all right,
Okay.
But then that still goes back to the love sex hits a little bit different than the I'm just fucking you sex. Like that's the reason that you would go, hey,
sex.
this fat booty that walked by, I'm not gonna jeopardize the woman that I love over this.
So sex essentially is the icing on the cake in a sense, but it's not the cake itself. Okay. Because sex might make you more open. Love might make you more open to the person.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But sex doesn't make you love the person more. Okay. Does it make sense? Because
Yes, I agree with.
all women know that in the beginning, just because a man is willing to lay down the pipe, give it to you, whatever the case may be, they all know that doesn't mean that a man loves you. They know that in the beginning.
Do you think that they know that?
They
Because
do.
we got a lot of women out here in these YouTube streets that literally believe that they can date guys that
they
are fucking.
absolutely do know that in the beginning.
Okay.
Because what they're getting in substitute are resources, time, and they're getting in substitute, they're getting that man who's prowling towards them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now here's what happens towards the cleaving part of the relationship. What ends up happening is the man starts to cleave. He gets comfortable for the most part, and the relationship gets solidified. And then for whatever reason, they lose the concept that sex was still sex. And then they start relying on the concept of sex equaling love for attention or for validation. And so what ends up happening is when sex starts depleting, then it's like, wait a second, does he not love me anymore? What ends up happening is when sex starts depleting, because the man is no longer prowling, because the man says in his mind, I have what I've been prowling for, so now I can kind of sort of come off the pedal a little bit. Right? It's what I have now is local. What I have now is next to me. I'm good. I can kind of back off a little bit. All relationships, I wouldn't say all, but the predominant relationships, when a man cleaves onto what he has, sex, the amount of sex, the quantity of sex starts to back off a little bit, because distance makes the heart grow fonder. A man will travel miles to get what he wants, but as soon as what he has is right next to him, it becomes an option, not a mandate. Okay? Usually. So what's happening is the woman starts looking, wait, we're not having sex anymore. So what ends up happening is, am I still attractive anymore? What's going on? She starts looking at herself, and we're not having sex. So then she starts thinking, damn, do I still look the same? Is he going elsewhere? And what is he doing? So on and so forth. And then what ends up happening is, the world tells her that if a man is not reacting to her, getting an erection because she's wearing something sexy, or the normal tropes, if these things aren't happening, then it means he's not attracted to her anymore, or he must be cheating, or he don't love her anymore, or whatever the case may be. And it just may be he's tired, he's stressed, you're pissing him off. It may be a lot of damn things, because it is a miracle to make something that is flaccid turn completely rock hard. It is a miracle. And if you can make that happen, congratulations, you are a sorcerer.
A lot of
Right?
women are sorcerers in my world.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
So-
you cannot argue that. You cannot argue that logic. You can't.
So they think that
All wizards.
they are programmed to think that men always are ready to have sex all the time, and that we're these little buttons that if you just press,
Or
something
open the
happens,
window too fast.
right? So what ends up happening is they rely on that for validation of themselves. Now, some of that is our fault, but it's a 50-50 street here. So with that in mind, what I'm trying to say is that they lose that concept of, just because a man has sex with you, it doesn't mean that he loves you. They lose that once the relationship gets solidified, and then all of a sudden, when the sex turns off or dies down, then it's like, oh, and the first question they ask is, you don't love me anymore? Right?
Mm-hmm.
I know we've all heard that question before, because I most certainly have. Right? And then it's like, it's not that I don't love you anymore. It's just that, shit, I got life going on, bills and kids and shit and so on and so forth. Right? Okay.
A lot of
So-
shit there.
Like
A lot of shit.
The only time I don't want to have sex is if I'm actually mad at the person, because
I'm pissed off.
and so this is a value set, but I live my life that I'm like, yo, if the opportunity for sex presents itself, I'm taking it, because I might die soon. And that's
Okay.
an honest belief. So I like, unless I'm actually mad at you, and I'm like so mad at you that I'm like, I'll die and not get that piece of ass, like, I'm gonna take it.
So I love Travel One's statement here, because this right here is prime example of the assumption that if a man is not looking at if a man is unable to react to in a way that the world assumes that a man is supposed to react, then there's something wrong with him. Okay. That is the same way of assuming that when a man is able to react and a woman isn't wet or isn't moist, then there's something wrong with her. Because maybe maybe she's already used, or maybe she's already reached her wall.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she's already 35 physiologically when she's at 30 or 20 or 28. When it could just be that she's stressed, or maybe she's just not interested, or maybe she's mad and pissed off, or maybe what the man is doing just isn't working. Or maybe she has a medical condition.
Bro.
So
I have a catch-22 for you, boss man. I have a catch-22.
I mean, so Travel One, with that type of statement, again, understand that just as much as y'all are not machines, neither are we.
I am.
Go ahead.
A catch-22 to your statement, and it's not bad. I was just past that a long time ago, like several years ago, dated a woman that she did not like sex as much. And that was one of the issues why we're not together. Obviously, she was like once a month, maybe if you're lucky. So like she was, her previous relationships, maybe once or twice, 3 or 4 tops. She wasn't a very sexual person. It was like rare when she wanted it. What do you say about that?
I'm sorry. I was distracted by the bullshit in the comments. Repeat that again.
Bossman, I love this shit out of you, man. I do. You're a great guy overall.
At least I was honest. Say it again.
So I was with a woman years ago. I'm talking about like close to 6, 7 years ago. We lasted only like 3 or 4 months. She did not like having sex as much.
Okay.
She was not really attracted to. She's not. It wasn't her thing. So she was like maybe once or twice a month. That is on a high end.
That's called trauma.
And that she was always been like this. She was married before, and that's how she was with her ex-husband too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Trauma.
other relationship, and every relationship, the argument with every partner she had is, why are not having enough sex?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
That's
Well,
that's
yeah.
a that's communication though, and I think
Yeah.
Travel One's comment and Boss Man's comment, because you have your libido, bro, and I'm not judging that, but those are things that should be communicated, because like
Yeah.
if you got somebody who's like, yo, I need to get my shit busted down daily, like
Daily.
you are obviously not the guy for that person.
Yeah.
Like I am.
And-
that's because women don't. The thing is, a lot of men and a lot of women don't make that known. Like if you're
Correct.
gonna date and you're like, yo, I'm only fucking once a month if you lucky, then being with a guy who has my value set of I refuse to be in a sexless relationship or a sexless marriage, period, because I can just be single and have sex, all the sex that I want, and do whatever the fuck I want to do. Those are conversations, and like those are things that like you should not be scared of bringing up. Like if I'm dating
Correct.
somebody and they're like, yo, like, are you don't like to fuck? Like
Record
This-
play.
Yeah.
Based on what you just said right now, and based
Mhm.
on what Bossman is saying, can we say for the simple fact that we have lost the actual art of communication, whereby we lay down the hard questions to understand our function? Because what Bossman was saying is what I was taught in my 20s, and I had to ask myself the question: why a lot of people overlook this ideology of what sex actually really is? Because the way he laid down perfectly, I had to laugh. I remember hearing similar exact word for what it is. I had to agree, scientifically speaking. You keep what I say, scientifically. Because remember what I said earlier in my monologue. What is the difference between love making, sex, and addiction? Even though you're doing the same activity in all three categories.
Yeah. I mean, eh, so yeah, and to your point, Sparta, that's a conversation. Into De Niro's point there, that's a conversation. I don't think there's anything wrong with what the scenario, what she was doing. I just think it would be wrong for her to get into a relationship with someone that is on the polar opposite, and that communication is not had per se, right? That would be a disaster. Now, to CBN's point here, to me, I think the biggest issue here about all of this is that one, society has basically romanticized sex to a point where we've basically lost the mechanics of what things or what shit actually is. Okay, and has romanticized things to a point where we've basically lost the fundamentals of understanding the mechanics of who we are as men and who women are as women. Like, for instance, we don't even talk about women's erections versus men's erections.
They got big old dicks.
Okay. So, for instance, okay, women's clitorises, for instance, it does stiffen, as well as they also moisten at the same time.
First of all, does anyone here know the average length of a clitoris?
Oh, actually, that's a good one. Go ahead, share.
It's about 6 inches.
Oh,
What?
okay.
Out?
No, the organ. All you're seeing is the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
the organ itself
Unless
is
they're
about
on
6
steroids,
inches long.
inches.
and they starts turning
So
into a
technically, so technically, it is a penis. Technically.
Yeah.
All right. So with that in mind, understanding the basic principles. Okay. So it's not so it's basically reactionary. Men are reactionary. So when women are saying, "Oh, well, he's not he's not getting an erection or whatever the case may be," well, if he's not getting an erection, understand first of all that it's not necessarily always something medical. Sometimes there are men who are going to the urologist, getting their T's checked, and their T's are normal, and the doctors are saying you need to go see a psychologist versus getting pills or going to go get injections, whatever the case may be.
Or
Because
that blue
part of
chew
your
from the gas station.
because part of your problem is that you are stressed, you're pissed off, there's something going on, so on and so forth, yada yada.
Mhm.
I know moisture doesn't come from that. I'm talking generalities here. We can get more specific if you need to. I'm not ignorant, Natasha. Okay? Damn. All right.
Natasha's a princess in these YouTube streets. You be nice to her.
All right. I'm not ignorant. I am being nice. Okay. But I understand. I understand where moisture comes from. I'm trying not to go into too much detail. Okay. I'm being general. All right. The point I'm making here is that understanding each other. If you want to be in a relationship with the other partner, with the counterpart, you probably should understand the counterpart.
Mhm.
Okay, it makes no sense to me that you don't even that you don't understand the interpersonalities and the interpersonal interactions with the other person to the point where you think you move about in the world thinking that men are just buttons, like press here and that's how that works. No. Understand that men are reactionary to the point where if we don't like what we see, we don't like what we smell, we don't like what we hear, we're not going to react.
Except your name is Ray.
No. Well, what he's saying, so when I severed my Achilles, dude, like I wasn't trying to fuck anything. Like I would not have been able to have sex if I wanted to because like I was off my square completely. And I was like, yo, like until I remedy something, this shit
wasn't going to happen at all.
Yeah. Like
right there. Look, a lot of sexual dysfunction is due to obesity, to be honest. Perfect. Absolutely. Yes. And if you're taking narcotics as well, that's going to fuck up some shit too, because it dampens the nerve endings, which means it dampens your sensitivities, which means you're not going to feel a lot of shit as well. Okay. So understand that too. So yes, women, if you don't, I don't mean to be overgeneralized, so please bear with me here. But if we don't like what we smell, we don't like what we see, we don't like what we hear, we don't like what we feel, these things, the five senses are not going to, somewhere along the way, just as much as fast as you think an erection is going to come, that same five senses can also be a distraction and can be, as much as an erection can come, an erection can go just as fast as that as well. This is why I say, going back to the topic, this is why I say sex has nothing to do with love, because these things, all the things I just mentioned about attraction and what creates an erection, has fuck all to do with love. It has everything to do with attraction and what a man sees, what he feels, what he smells, what he tastes if he's biting you, okay, and what he hears. And for you women, it has to do with the exact same thing. The exact same thing. Because if it's going to go down, it's going to go down whether you love the man or not. Because I can guarantee most of y'all didn't ask a man if you loved him or if he loved you before y'all opened the gate and let him in. It has nothing to fucking do with it. Now, it enhances it to some degree. It probably matters. It probably matters to some degree. It probably matters to some degree if you would regret if you did it or not. I know it matters to me, but I can promise you, most of your body count, most of my body counts weren't women that I loved. I can promise you that. And it wasn't a fucking prerequisite. So the point that I'm making here is that sex has fuck all to do with love. No, it's not nonsense, because the fact that you're saying that tells me that most that are in your Rolodex, you don't love them. You didn't love them. I can
I
tell
have
you
a
that
fun
right
fact for
now.
you guys. I have a real fun fact with you
What
guys.
she did? Did she have to put a paper bag over her face?
I mean, fellas, just answer the question. In your Rolodex, roll back the clip. Did the ladies ask, do you love me before they allowed for you? Oh, thank you. Okay.
No.
I'm not even going to let you finish
I
that.
only had one woman ask me that question, and I was not able to lie to her before she was before she was able to allow for me. And I just wouldn't. I just didn't. I wasn't able to lie to her. I was like, no. So that didn't happen. All right, I was honest. So that was one that didn't happen. So cool. All right. Call me a nice guy. Call me whatever you want. But cool. Only one. And my numbers is still on my hands and toes.
Both?
Damn.
Shut up.
Hands and shoulders, knees and toes, ass nigga.
This is an honest conversation. I like what both men break it down because that is the honest reality. And I've been thinking about it 10 times my 20 because let's be honest, you will. Remember what I said earlier? I said sometimes I feel like I'm in the twilight zone because what he broke down, what I learned back in my 20s. And when you want to have that type of conversation, I hate to say it, the society ideology destroyed that mechanism to get to understand one another very well. It got to a point that I'm questioning if I'm fucking a psychopath or a lulubin or an idiot or a nincompoop, when I'm gonna find an actual human being who has some level of common sense. Because looking at the chat we see in the conversation in the chat, it lets you know the level of intellect they have. And let's not forget, America is not even in the top 20 in the world when it comes to education. So, that being
Greece number
said,
one. Remember that.
that being said, I wanted what type of intellectual claim to be highly educated women are not really highly educated to begin with. I'm being brutally honest because at the end of the day, a lot of people can't face the reality. Let's be fact to fact. What both men they broke down, intellectually speaking, is the core of our problem. Either we like it or we don't. I ain't trying to be biblical because even though it be biblical, it would be totally correct what both men saying. What our problem is we have, there's too many adult male, too many adult female who have no clue what life really is. Travel one, I know that everywhere. That's why I'm trying to meet someone who not even sure if you're a woman or not. How much sure you're not a man? You might be one of the 32 sexes that are out there. So how much sure about that? So please shut the fuck up, will you? Gosh, I hate dumb broad. I'm sorry, alien. That'd be better.
No, we
connotation.
like Travel One. She keeps the comments going.
I know.
Mhm.
I'm a different breed. I don't like
And she be
idiots.
pushing y'all. Y'all just be
I
getting
know.
mad because she
No,
press
I'm
on
not
you a
getting
little
mad.
bit.
I don't got time for low vibration idiots. That's just me. I'm being brutally unleashed.
But Mr. Bennett, I'm curious to know if I may, Sparta. I'm curious to
Go
to
ahead.
volley this to you, my guy, my friend. Volley with me, sir. For the moments I have left.
Hang on. Before you talk,
Oh.
go ahead.
Oh God.
Oh,
I think we
God.
enough.
Curious to know what you think.
Come on, Mr. Paul. I know you're thinking about this.
That's a lot. That's a lot to digest. First of all, I would just say to Travel One, and I mean this sincerely. I don't know you obviously. It seems like you have a lot of comments to say. I would really like to hear your opinion in the positive and what you feel on the matter. So again, Pete, I would say definitely if you extend, even if she didn't show her face, I would really like to engage and have a dialogue, not a debate or argument.
I'll make an exception for her if she wants to come up.
I would like to see that. Not in today's show, but just in the future, because again,
Yeah,
I do
I will
appreciate
make
her
an
being
exception.
on, and she obviously
second
follows
that
the
motion.
content. And so
I
I would
will-
certainly like to, hear what she has to say on it.
I will make an exception for her to come on. Camera off is fine. I just need to know. I need to know if in the backstage that's her. Once I know she's her, and I give her the green light on the back
you go.
chat, she's more than welcome to.
There you go. There you go.
My email, my business email is in the prescription. So please, you're welcome to email me, Facebook me. I have all the information there. We're on Instagram, TikTok. That's it for now. But we're any of those platforms, you're more welcome to reach out to me. If you can't reach out to me, you want to reach out to Ray, or Ray reach out to me, that's fine. Whatever, like where you want, and you will be safe on the platform. I promise you, nobody's gonna come attack you. That is a promise from the Greek goddess Sparta to you.
We'll hold off CBN. Okay, we'll hold off CBN.
Yeah, he's gonna stay after that night. He's gonna take it the night off.
Take the meat monster. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying you didn't make positive comments, but again, you're always replying to things that are said. But I would like to hear what you have to say in the affirmative on particular topics. Like, so the topic tonight: how do you believe love is sex and sex is love? I would really like to know your views on that. If you don't want to put them in the comments, or if you want to come up, just to have a dialogue. I don't think I've ever had a scarce word to say about you, and I'm not trying to start anything with you now. But that being said, I think there is certainly a separation, but at the same time, I think there is a situation and scenario where certainly sex can feed into love and love into sex. I do believe that. I think a lot of it has to do with intent. So like we have like in law, like, deleting people. Now, again, in the law, we have murder and you have manslaughter. And a lot of times we say, well, what's the difference? And a lot of it has to do with intent. Even though you had the same action, you took the gun and you shot someone. The difference between you getting off, no diddy, or going to prison for a long time or death penalty or whatever it is, a lot of it has to deal with the intent of your actions. Mm-hmm. And so I think when it comes to sex, I think a lot of it has to do with the intent of your action. I think certainly you can have sex without love, absolutely. And you can certainly love someone without having sex with them. Both things are true. But I think, again, if you are in a loving relationship, then I think sex is a loving action towards another person. So when you talk about mindset, if I was to make, because I don't like the term making love. I'm kind of like with Boss Man when it comes to that. This idea of making love. I've never been crazy about the term of making love, but certainly if I love someone, I'm going to be sensitive to that person's needs, mm-hmm. and I'm going to do my best to accommodate those needs. So when we talk about intent, if I were to quote unquote make love to my wife just for the sake of the argument, then I'm going to make sure part of her sexual satisfaction is important to me. So I want to know what she's into, what she likes, what she doesn't like, what turns her on. And I want to do things that turn her on. If she makes a request of me, at the very minimum, I have to at least consider it. Now, it can come from left field now, which is not likely from her. She's not that kind of woman. But let's say if she came with some crazy request of me, at the very least, I would have to consider it. Because, again, I love my wife. And if she thinks that whatever this action is going to be something that would please her, I want to please her. I mean, in fact, when we do it, my thing is to please her first before I please myself. But if I was just having sex with her, I'd just be like, bend her over and just get my job and just keep it moving. But that's not loving. So again, I think your intent matters, as well as and certainly that and your do you care enough about that person to consider their needs just as important as your own? I think when those things are together, sex can become a loving act that builds your attraction, your connection with the other person. But if it's not there, then it's just an act. And certainly some people stay together, just for the feel. In fact, even with, look, there have been nights when it hasn't been, we're in a lovey-dovey mood. Sometimes I've just wanted it. Sometimes she just wanted it. Sometimes she didn't know that she wanted it, but she really wanted it. And she was glad that we did it. So again, you're going to, just like in your life, you're not going to feel in love all the time. So yeah, so not every time we do it, it's just this special thing. But yeah, but when we're certainly in that loving space, and I would agree with the doctor to an extent. Yeah, I mean, you make love kind of throughout the day. I mean, how you set up the day. Did you text her early in the day and talk about how she's doing and things, or give her maybe a little flirty message during the day or whatever. I can't wait for tonight, or whatever you guys do. Yeah, I think that's all part of that helps to build up the excitement and anticipation for it. But again, it's the quality of your relationship. And I think sex can certainly be an amplifier of that. So I'm not going to say just straight out that they're just totally separate and, to conflate love with sex. I think they are, in the best scenario, I think they go better together. It's like peanut butter and jelly. I mean, you can eat peanut butter or jelly separately. But yeah, you put them together in a sandwich. Yeah, that's pretty good. So again, I think there's an ideal, and I think that's a reason. If I was going to say a reason or justification why, maybe it's better that you wait, both the man and the woman. Wait until you get married before you have sex. Because I think a lot of these questions and situations, I think it's less on your plate when you have to deal with all these other factors, how many bodies you've had, or just different issues or traumas that you may have had. I mean, sometimes they say ignorance is bliss, and I believe that. And the less complicated you make your life, then maybe you don't have to see the psychiatrist or the psychologist about all the past traumas you've had, or why you're not able to perform in it. Now, I've heard guys have to go. Yeah, their T levels are normal, and the prescription is you need to go to psychologists. I've seen that. So again, I don't think it's necessarily they have to be. I think in the best of circumstances, I think sex is a powerful love builder. Because even boss man, going back to that flower that we looked at with the how love is built. Again, obviously, I think I don't have it in front of me, but again, trust. Obviously, it's a trusting act. You're in a very humble place. It can be obviously it can be very blissful. All those things. I mean, so if all those emotions are going to be involved as you're doing it, it can be a powerful love builder. I believe that, and I don't think it has to be necessarily separate and apart from it. And I think, yeah, maybe we are losing something when we kind of constantly keep them separate all the time.
Great. Hey, CBN, really quick. I want to just do something really quick, Mr. Bennett. I think to your point, and I want to make sure I'm very clear on something. I think for my position for my argument, and I guess philosophically or intellectually, I want to make sure I'm clear. When I say that there's no such thing as love making, I agree with you on this. And when I say there's no such thing as this argument of sex is love and love is sex, I'm speaking from it, or I'm disembarking from it, from a absolutist statement.
Correct. Yeah.
The statement is love is sex. Well, the statement is love is not sex, which means the converse is love is sex. Sex is love. If it is possible for there to be sex without love, then the absolute statement is then, in that case, void.
Correct.
Because, okay, so that's when I'm arguing. And if it's possible for the opposite to be possible, then the argument is therefore void, and therefore we must rethink the absolute statement. And therefore, if there are contingencies, then we must then make a new argument. We therefore must then provide a new absolute statement, which makes room for there to be this wiggle room. And what's more of an absolute statement that is more accurate is that sex is just performative. Sex is just a thing that if it is done with a person that you do love, that it means something more than just sex with someone that you don't love. And that is it. But sex in and of itself, in isolation, solipsistically, it is just sex.
Yeah.
That's all.
For
And
sure.
that's my only argument is
Right.
that sex within and of itself, okay? And you explain it perfectly, is that sometimes the wife gets sex when she wasn't expecting it.
Or didn't want it. I mean,
Yeah.
there were times it was like,
Yeah.
oh, all right.
Yeah.
I got to be careful. I got to be careful too. My daughter's sitting right here, so I'm about to grow. I'm about to. We're talking about sex here, so yeah, you might.
Yeah. Yeah. We're talking about sex here. So, yeah.
Run.
My daughter's
Run.
20, my daughter's 25 actually, but it's like
No
that
growth.
would have been a traumatic.
growth.
That would have been a
Does she wanna
tragedy. Yeah,
say
she just
hi?
moved around
Literally-
out the roof.
I'm gonna tell you something.
You wanna,
And before
hang on. Does she want to pop her head and say hi?
No, I don't think so. She just closed the door.
not on this conversation. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Before I say what I'm going to say on recording, I have permission to do what I say that I'm going to say that I'm doing. Okay, I have consent. I have consent for non-consent. Okay, here we go. So
boy.
I do. I have permission. So there have been times where I have permission to get to do without consent. Does that make sense?
You're allowed to say the nasty on public.
Do you have to wear the poo shiesty while you do it?
No. So essentially, I can just go without getting permission, but I have
Just say it
permission.
already.
Does that make sense? So
It's
I can
female
just
style, yeah.
so I can just
Yeah.
so I can
Get it
just
out.
I can just I can just roll over and just go for it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, stick it in. Good to go.
All right,
Because-
finger on the button ready.
Huh?
Go.
I said it
Go ahead.
already. I can just roll over and stick it in and just go. Why? Because wife says she wants it sometimes without consent, but she gave me consent to give without consent. Does that make sense?
Well, actually, yeah, backed up a little bit.
Go ahead.
She said she gave consent without consent.
Correct.
But again, until she says no, so it's not really consent. So it could have been you guys could have had a spiff maybe 10 minutes before
Right.
and didn't address it or whatever, and then
Correct.
all of a sudden she's feeling a certain way. So you think that you have consent
Right.
until you don't.
Right.
And she'll let you know because you trying to come in. She just bucks you
Correct.
because it's like, get
Correct.
off me.
Why
Correct.
would she a Glock shoe for that?
I'm waiting for the Glock.
Or
So here's the thing. So here's the weird thing. I have consent. I have consensual consent. It's the weirdest thing in the world.
Consensual
Right?
non-consent.
Uh-huh.
There we go. Thank you for saying that. Consensual non-consent. There we go. That's what I have. Essentially.
And let me jump on that bandwagon.
Correct.
Christ almighty.
Since women think we are confusing, let's flip this script. Do women have consent when they don't have consent to do it as well? Because this is where they don't think about. I look at both on both lanes. What you say is absolutely correct. But what's funny about it, though in a marriage, they have that moment they don't feel like doing it. But she wanted it. So you could be dead asleep, and all you feel is when you wake up and she's on, like, okay, what are you gonna do? Tell her no,
So
or let it
So
slide?
okay, so in that instance, okay, this is where consensual non-consent comes in. Okay, we have that conversation beforehand. Okay, so her and I have this conversation beforehand. Okay, so I have, again, you have to have these conversations beforehand. And yes, travel one, wives have every right to say no. They do. Yes, I don't disagree with that. And if she's not in the mood, she has every right to say no. And then that's whenever all things are backed off. Good to go. Okay, so.
Same with the husband.
So does the husbands, correct? And we have the
Yeah, but
ultimate
then no
no.
one's gonna have any fun. I mean,
We have the ultimate no, because if it doesn't work, ain't nothing happening.
I know, but it's just the tit for tat thing. Oh, men can say no too. And then again, it's like nobody's having any fun.
Yeah, what's happening
So,
fun. So what consensual non-consent basically means is that we have a conversation beforehand, and basically it's like you have the permission to do X, Y, and Z up until this point, and there are safe words, so on and so forth, yada yada. Okay, that's what that means. Okay,
Pineapple Kathy.
pineapple, roses or rainbows. That's what that means. Okay. And to Mr. Bennett's point, whenever he says sometimes the wife was getting it, whatever she didn't know she was getting it. That's what that means. Or getting it when she wasn't expecting it.
well, more so, it was the I guess the relief that she got from it.
Right.
Because again, a lot of times, women, especially my wife, they can get really tensed up. Just stress. And like I said, stress is a mood killer, just period.
Right.
So again, there have been times when she would consent, like, okay. But then at the end, she's like, you know what? She told me straight up, I'm glad we did that. Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, no.
Because again, sometimes they don't know that how much they needed it until they need it. You know what I'm saying? And it's because again, you just let everything with the kids and everything else just stressed out or whatever. And it's like, there have been times when it's like, oh yeah, once we get into it, it's like, okay, yeah.
No.
Thanks for taking me here.
I'm going to tell you what my wife told me. She literally said, sometimes what I want, I'm going to tell you literally verbatim. My wife told me, she said, sometimes what I want is that I want you, that when I am asleep, I want you to literally, I want to wake up to you putting it in me, waking me up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, she said, put it on, man. What would I be without you?
So,
think about
okay.
you.
Great. Cool. So, with that in mind, does that sound like love making to you? No, that sounds like some. That sounds like some. That sounds like some.
Well,
DMX.
it kind of does. Again, if you take love in the sense of, again, you want to love in the affirmative, to love your spouse. Your spouse again expressed she expressed a need to you,
and the needs got met.
And the needs got met. So I would say in that instance, yes. I think in that context, you had the permission.
Yeah.
And you gave her what she needs. So I would say in that sense, yes. It's no different than, she gives me a honey-do list and I got to go and do X, Y, and Z. I look at that. Those are acts of love also. But again, I'm acting in a way, it's like, what do you need? And that's where communication, I'm glad. And one thing is certainly sure, regardless of what everybody say, you and your wife have excellent communication. Excellent communication.
Look, Brent Henson say, "What did I
shout
just
out to Brent Henson."
Look, here's the deal. The point that I'm making here is that when I'm waking up in the like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, okay, and I'm thinking this is a really good idea, okay, I am not thinking about love at that moment.
Oh, totally.
No love.
Now let me ask you. All right, so hang on. Since we're the married guys on the panel,
what's love got to do with it at this point?
Okay, well, hang on. Since we're the only married guys on the panel right now, have you ever had sleep sex?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's no love there.
No, there's not. No, none.
He said everybody's on autopilot, bro.
We went from one thing to
y'all never had sleep sex?
There's no love there at all.
okay, sleep
sleepwalking. No, it's you like
educate us what sleep sex is.
It's exactly what I said it is.
It's exactly
what I said.
You're having sex.
You
while
are
you're
having
asleep.
Yeah.
Like
And you don't even know if it's a dream or not, but you know when you get up in the morning. Yeah.
You're on autopilot.
Yes.
And you're
yes.
but you're still asleep.
Yes. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
It's a thing.
Oh shit.
Now look, I admit. Listen, I'm not. Listen,
still be doing this,
But
and one of you is awake.
Right. Now again, I haven't done that in years. I mean, back we talk about the first, certainly before the kids came, and certainly, in those, when we were a bit younger. Now it's more managed. Now, yeah, we don't. have too many of those occasions as we used to. But yeah, back in the day, absolutely, it'd be like, and I'm waking up, and then I go kind of back to sleep. It's like, yeah, oh, I'm doing it. Okay, go back to sleep. I'm doing it again or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. That's gold.
Man,
You a
But,
manimal, Bennett. Y'all some manimals. What
no,
is
let me break it
wrong
down.
with
Let me break
hey,
it down.
I'm so
and then,
reckless, Ray.
but
I'm
here's the
shocked.
thing. Here's the
That's
thing.
only
The wife wakes up
couple.
the wife wakes up the next day and she asks, "Okay, so who was that?"
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Animal, that's who it was.
Absolutely. Straight up.
Let me say something about that. I have researched about that in my 20, and I learned about it. It only happened with only couples who have a very strong bond within
Yes.
each other. Those who have weak ass bond, it never happened. So this is why I always say what I learned in my 20, what both been speaking about, it's factually true. But what the issue is, no one take the time out and have those type of nitty gritty conversation about what they are, what they don't like, either past trauma, what they're into, what they expect to happen in a relationship. When you want to have that coffee date, everybody say F coffee date, that is the ground where you can have that type of conversation to understand, intellectually speaking, how you think and how you process things and how you react to things. If you're
Yeah.
not into, for example, like
So
you
hang on. So
mentioned,
hang on.
boss
So
man,
David, so you would bring that up on the coffee date?
He'd be like, David,
after
you'd
a
be
few
like,
coffee days,
I-
David be
after a
hitting
few
him with
coffee
that's
like
a
a
days,
little. That's a little
hypothetical.
lag.
after a few,
I
I don't know
roll
if I'd do it on
over,
the
I
coffee
hit
date.
you with my
hold on,
Lincoln
hold on.
Log. What do you do?
I'm not gonna be dating her
No,
for months,
no,
but
I hate
maybe
to
I
say
give it
this.
a little bit of time,
After a
man.
few coffee days, if you're
So
intellectually
how do you
connected to
like
one
to be?
another,
coffee
no,
date.
How do you
no,
like
I'm
to
being
be
honest.
woken
No,
up from
I'm
a nap?
being real
You better have a
real.
speed round, like every 5 minutes, someone
You a
getting up.
whips and chains type
When I'm
girl,
saying
or
that to coffee days,
All
when I
right,
mention
David,
coffee
did I
days,
ever mention you have some weird ass dates?
let me make it crystal clear. When
sorry?
I mention about coffee dates, we having conversation whereby after you interact with one another, you get a level of comfort whereby you can go a little further in the conversation. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Everybody is not the same. Let's be literally real. Both men point out that there's some people who only have sex once or twice a month. They're not into the sexual aspect of things. So when they conversation will not fall in that category. But there's some people, like Reckless Ray, he want to be reckless, right? If he finds someone who has the same wavelength, it's a matter of time before that comes to pop up. And when I come do pop up, what do you think that comes to be all about? Without asking themselves a different question like, well, you feel comfortable, you don't feel comfortable, right? And they have that comfortability among themselves. To have that conversation, then it will be known at that point. But when you interact with a person, it's based on what connectivity you have with that individual. If you connect on a mental level, on an intellectual level, or physical level, it depends. It's like attraction, right or wrong.
I
I don't know. I
I
don't know if
could.
I bring that up on a coffee date
So
first
so
date, man.
so so
Not
so so.
everybody,
Second
like I
date for
said,
sure.
I keep, remember I keep, not everybody bring up that conversation. It depends on what kind of nature of a person you are. If you're not a
So
sexual person, that comes will never pop up.
so I would agree to a point, but I would say I would agree to bring these type of things up, but not that early. I would say,
Bingo.
my wife and I would have these type of conversations. We did have these type of conversations, but it was once we a little unorthodox. Mr. Bennett would disagree. I would say this, but we started living together relatively early. It was due to a specific type of situation, but I wouldn't recommend it. But it turned out pretty good for us. But we both had a mindset that we did not want to move forward very long together without first living together. We had that same
I
mindset,
personally agree with that theory.
and we agreed. Because you don't know motherfucker until you live with them. Okay, so that's we both understood that, and we actually said it together at the same time. So we were like, good, bet. So we tried it, and so as we started to cleave, we started to have these really interesting connecting type of conversations. All right. And it's not until you live with someone or you're like with someone all the time that you start to have these more connecting conversations. When you're dating and you're apart and then you connect temporarily, you have these tepid conversations, but not incessant conversations.
But
That's
what about those conversations that you on the phone all night? Like
Yeah.
literally, like
So-
you get on the phone at 8 p.m. and it's 6 p.m.
Bro, y'all
6
remember
6 a.m.
Remember falling asleep on the phone, bro? You wake
I
up
remember
and
that.
hear a chick snoring on the
Mhm.
other end, bro.
I remember that.
That's never
But-
happened to me.
Okay, but see,
You hang up.
never
No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang
okay.
up.
So, but even in, okay, maybe in those you might have those type of conversations, sure, okay. But I know for sure if you are literally living under the same roof as someone and like you are like ingrained in this person's space all the time, it's more likely you're going to be having those type of conversations, especially there's room for it. Okay, let's put it that way. Okay, I won't say definitely, but there's room for it. Let's put it that way. All right, cool. Now, to that end, we even now still have we find ways to break barriers to have even deeper and deeper conversations about either trying new things, opening the room a little bit to explore either more, do more, figure out, hey, there's a corner over there. How do you feel about that? Or where are you now? I talk about dusting off that table that we met at, parenthetically, that we met at to say, what are your needs now? Are they still the same needs? That kind of thing, to see, what are you interested in now? Do you still feel the same way relative to just not relationship wise, but just physically, to do the same thing, still get you going, still that kind of thing. Right.
Mhm.
So with that in mind, we have developed quite a exploratory type of sexual space to the point where there's a sexual compartmentalized relationship that we have that is quite broad, and then there is the relationship compartmentalization portion. Then there's our friendship that's pretty compartmentalized too. Okay, so to your point, we are very connected to a sense in different areas, but you don't develop that until you actually start having that communication that I'm actually pretty proud of. Travel One, where she said, again, a husband must have a emotional connection. You should have a emotional connection. Sure. Yes. But you have to have communication at a point where you must be able to have vulnerability and then be able to open up and say, this is who I am. Okay. And this is what I'm interested in. What are you interested in? And be okay with whatever she's interested in as well, because you might be surprised, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Now you get my point. I would say based on that communication, the conversation you have.
Not over coffee, though.
Everybody click with one another.
Over
that's
coffee.
Now,
But
we
boss
do
man,
have- we do have coffee conversations, though, every Sunday. We do sit and have coffee conversations. We do.
Nice.
In our bed, 2 cups of coffee, and we
Okay,
do have a
now.
coffee conversation. But we're almost at 10 years together, though. So,
Right.
yeah.
But boss man, you did understand the earlier point I was making in regards to intent.
Yes. Okay. So to that point, the intent part, I do agree that the intent portion does change the atmosphere of how you enter into the realm of sex, which is kind of, yeah, I do agree. It does change how you might enter into sex and how you might delve and maneuver through sex and how you might leave after sex too.
Or even the the consequences of it. Like I said, that's why I used the manslaughter/murder example.
I could rock with that.
They said it all boils
and
down
does
to
change
your
it.
intent. The action is the same,
Okay. All right.
but the
so-
consequences, certainly for you and your livelihood, could be very much between getting the chair or getting
okay.
5 to 10 or probation or whatever it is.
All right.
That's
so-
that's part of what the law has to try to find out.
So let's rock with that for just 1 second. Okay, so what about those nights where you don't have quite the loving intent with the same person that you love?
The nights that I don't but there's always the loving action. When you say
There's some nights that I don't quite have loving actions with my wife. I'm telling you this.
The loving action's the fourth pump, man. Come on now.
Okay, there are some. I'm gonna be very honest with you. There are some nights I don't quite have loving actions. Okay.
He said,
Nah,
I love you.
I honestly look. if there's no loving
There
action,
might be
then
some asphyxiation involved.
then more than likely there's
Oh,
not
you
going
can
to be
lovingly
any.
choke
There's
somebody.
not
I've
going to be
lovingly choked them.
any. At least
Yeah.
in my situation. You know what I mean? Or there have been, look, I'm not going to get too deep here.
I mean,
Okay,
but
I'll
but,
make it easy.
but do you
Would it
see
be-
what I'm saying? Like,
but like I said, but generally that's not going to be an action though. So like even looking at my murder manslaughter example,
okay,
again, if there's no intent or if there's no action at all, then it's not more than likely it's not going to happen.
okay,
I'll
all
make
right.
it easy to
I see.
understand.
I see what you're
Is
saying.
it the
So you-
moment? Is it the moment you have the full moon and you feel different, like you're not yourself no more? You feel like a werewolf. Let's be real. Every man goes to that moment.
Nah,
'cause I may be
don't think
I may be feeling a little primal. Okay, so you're saying with your wife, there's no other reason why you would ever have sex with your wife other than because you love her, and not because she's looking real good. Because I'm telling you something, the outfit that my wife has on today. Okay.
Oh, that's part of it too. But like I
said
said, but
he
I
about
but
to
I
jump
will
offline
I will
right
never
now.
I've never had sex with my wife without the without the goal of making sure that she gets her share of the pleasure. You know
Got
what I'm
it.
saying?
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
I've never just been like, look, I'm just gonna bend you over, boom, and then just walk away from you.
So
Just
think
nah,
you would
I'm
never
not
climb her out of-
not that. You know what I'm
Oh.
saying? Like I've never been so selfish about it
definitely.
where it's like, and she's the same way. Like if I got her off, but for whatever reason I didn't get off, for whatever reason, she's upset. She's like, wait a minute, no, let's, it's not. She doesn't think it's fair. So again, we have a mutual understanding that look, if we gonna do this, both of us should get something out of it. And unless it's some very rare circumstances, like maybe unless one of us is sick or something, and I just need to be pleasured or something, like, but I'm not in a position physically to do it, but,
Okay.
something like something like that, but that, but it's rare. But the
Okay, hold
idea
on.
more times than not, 95% of the time we go into it with the express thing that we're going into this to both get some mutual out of it.
So we need to
Stronger
add that
connection,
Interesting.
pleasure, all those things from it.
That needs to
But
go
it's never
into the
it's
manosphere.
rarely been selfish.
That needs to
Well,
go into the
man, I
manosphere
wanna ask this
database,
question.
the Bennett pleasure principle. Everybody gets their pleasure portion.
Yeah, it just
So-
it just doesn't feel right. I mean,
Okay. Let me ask this question. So there's never a moment while you're married, neither you or your wife ever gone primal at all. Like you had a full moon and you decide to go
This
beast
is the
mode.
primal pleasure
never been a
principle
moment?
by Black David.
like I said, even back in the day, like I said, we haven't done this well, but even back when we were doing the sleep thing or whatever, we were so just period. It just didn't matter. It was just like at the drop of a hat, I could just pull her into me. We could kind of go like at any time. It was like, it can happen on an instant. But it was never something where I just forcibly just, no.
No, because
That's
we gotta ask
again
that question because-
that doesn't and I'm not saying that at times it can't be good, like to Boss Man's point. I'm not saying at times that can't be good, especially if it's been communicated. Like his wife communicated
And I
that
get that.
every once in a while I want you to do that to me. All right, fine. I got that. My wife has
But
never said that.
Now, if I want to describe Bossman, like, could be that moment whereby he can just fell asleep, he tired, and his wife feeling primal, he wake up handcuffed. The wife say, at that moment, I'm going primal on your ass. What
She
think
definitely
Bossman going
has
to say?
handcuffs.
And you have to also be mindful. Now, I would say this. I do think, to Boss Man's point earlier, I
It's
do
a weird
think
sex
men
life?
and women look at sex a bit differently. In that, I think women, for women, sex is much more like rejection. Like men, I guess we're kind of used to getting rejected all the time, one way or another. At least
Yeah, they
we
do
used
not
to.
like rejection.
What's that?
They do not like rejection.
No. So if I turn she might be like, I'm tired, I'm this or that or whatever. But if she's like really if I don't show up,
Ooh-wee.
then it's an issue.
What?
Again, we talk about it's not reckless is always saying it's not fair, right? It's
fair.
it's not fair, but
standard.
that's the way it is. Me turning her down is like me if she turning me down 10 times. That's the ratio.
So,
But again, but that's what I'm saying. And I remember I'll share this one time. This was early on. Now again, mind you, also my wife was a virgin. So her talking about not her naivete was like, you know,
boy, you had
this
it
isn't supposed to happen.
bad boy.
Now I was like, and we might have, you know, I was like tired, like I was like knocked out, kind of. She was, you know, on me or whatever, and I was just tired. It wasn't intentional. I wasn't mad. I was just in another realm. And when I finally, maybe an hour or two later, when I finally got up and came to my senses, she was in a fit. It's like you would,
So
you know.
hold on, boss man and Mr. Bennett. I know I want to get my little thing. Brent say I'm being rude, but I'm being honest here. Bossman just said women don't like rejection, right? So that is a moment of them being primal. So let's get this straight. If a woman give me that look in your face, give me like, this is the night, and I hear no excuse. It happened one way or the other. How are you address that issue when she's a primal moment? Hmm?
Oh,
'Cause
in my right mind,
they say black men love company.
absolutely. It's not a problem. Like I said, it was just that situation. Again, I was out of it. Maybe because we did it the night before. I don't know. I was just tired. I was totally out of my element. But she was feeling
So
a certain way. It's like you
Oh yeah, it was
rejected me.
I was,
so
I,
weird,
I
right?
was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean
a
to do it. I didn't.
primal
You know, it
moment.
wasn't me. I'm sorry. I you know, how can I make it up? But she was in a way.
Yeah.
So I already
boy.
knew right then
Yeah, it
that
was
again
trouble.
we're gonna look at
You
we're gonna
didn't
look at
answer
this
my
a lot.
question correctly.
We're gonna look at this very differently.
Yeah, you
You know what I
got
She
mean?
was
So
primal at that moment, and she gave you that look.
very much.
Like
But again, I
you was
was I slipped up. What do you want me to say? I was off the job. I wasn't standing on business.
Bro, Bennett,
What
if
you
you
say?
would
I
have
was
died,
I was
if
off.
you would have died, you would have felt bad about it. That's all I'm saying.
But hang
That's
on,
the
but
reason
still,
I
like
said
some 20-something years later, she's still with me. So I think
Yeah.
we've gotten over it.
If that was
But
the
that
last
being
piece,
said,
if
though, but
that was the
that
last
was my
piece
first
left,
lesson.
bro, I'm just
That was
saying.
my first lesson right there. No, as a man, you cannot, or as a husband, I would say this as a husband, you cannot, or it is not wise that you turn down your wife
You
when
gotta
she's got
answer
that
the call of the
primal thing
wild with
going
a
on.
wild
That is like,
call.
I don't care what's going on.
You learned your
You,
lesson the hard way, didn't you, buddy?
I do.
He was sitting over there talking about, I want my
did, but that
pleasure
was again,
portion
we were
right
rookies.
now.
I
You
do.
got Ghost, you got to give me some grace. We were rookies, you know, at the time, and I'm, you know, we like I said, we didn't live together like balls, but we got married and started living together. So again, we were fleshing all this stuff out, rookie mistakes or whatever. I took the L for that one, but it was, but
I took that.
but look, it was, but yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, all of that. Yes, take it. Game over. Yes, everything. You know.
You did.
All right.
But
Before we
So
get to go ahead, finish. We're gonna say, and let's start going around our final thought.
Go ahead, boss.
Okay.
Finish. We're gonna say, boss man.
I was just gonna say, I do from time to time. I do deny from time to time.
You try to piss her off, or you're trying to die.
A little bit of both.
Oh, see, you just being see, you being cruel. So you
He's
being
just mean,
So
bro.
so
And they say,
so
I'm
so
ruthless.
some of it is
I'm
honest.
ruthless.
Some of it is
some of it's
honest.
what?
Honest.
Honest. Okay.
Okay. In honest fashion, meaning that it's is purely because of things going on.
Time and
Other time.
opportunity. Got you. All right.
Yeah, and 2-year-old. Okay.
So like I said, time and opportunity. I got you.
Other times, in rare occasions, it is purposeful. Just to be able to pull back just a little bit of power.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you
That's why they
fucking
call
me,
him boss man right there. That's the boss in him right there.
Yes, so yeah.
He said he's still got that dog in him. He
He's
said
the
he's
Marine.
awake.
He's the Marine
Just-
in him.
Just a little bit of power, okay? Because
Marine
I'm
craziness.
stubborn. All right, but you can't do it too much because then if you do it too much, then it becomes diluted. You have to give and push and pull a little bit. All right, and then of course you do have to give in also because if you don't, then then it's not balanced. Okay. Now, I do know about the primal look. All right, because my God. Okay. I'm gonna tell you something. My wife actually chases me around. Okay. Yeah, you something.
Give it to me,
Okay.
bitch.
Okay. Yeah, you something.
And they say
That's
I'm
some shit I
ruthless.
heard too.
and
Okay.
they think I'm ruthless.
Okay.
Okay then,
Listen.
David,
All
give me my,
I
give
told
me my
you.
Boss
flowers.
man be hiding in shelves and closets, bro.
right.
Shut the fuck up.
My wife would tie me down. Good to go. All right. So listen,
See,
you better watch out. Okay.
you
But
see,
in all seriousness,
Oh, will you leave her alone? She's a sweetheart.
she is okay. But stand by. Okay.
Which
Stand
button?
by.
Which button I
Okay.
need to hit?
Huh?
Which button I need to be stand by on?
Listen, just pick one. Okay. Just stand by. All right. But at any rate, it's important. It's important to pass to provide a little bit of balance. Okay. But at any rate, I think I think it's important also to have these conversations and be definitely be open to what it is that she needs. Okay, because it is an exchange. Okay, it is not all about what we need. Okay, all right. Yes, I will be honest. There have been times where I have gotten what I needed and she didn't get what she needed. But here is the thing. I'll be honest with you. Do not don't you don't
For
I
shame.
don't you
For
know
shame on you. For the shame on you, sir.
I will get the White Jesus Bible on you. Don't you do that.
Oh, is that the White Jesus Bible or a Harry Potter edition? Boss man got the Harry Potter Bible, bro.
oh my God,
You
this
bro.
has
You bro.
this has gone too
Never
far.
gonna enter into the kingdom.
Listen.
of
You know what?
Hogwarts.
You know what?
Said it
Cut
like
the boss
that.
The
man right
Hogwarts
now.
version on your ass.
Cut the
Don't do
boss
it.
man.
Oh my gosh.
Cut the boss
I
man.
will trump your
Bible.
ass. Listen.
I need to get a white man Bible and the Ethiopian Bible just in case I need to be black or white.
Listen. However, she has expressed to me that it is at times for her it is important for her that I am satisfied more so than her at times, and it depends on the mode. It depends on the mood. If we are in these passing moments where it's just come here daddy, then I know what mode she's in. She's not really worried about her at that moment. She's just worried about giving daddy what he needs. Okay. If we're in the mode where we are together, like in our boudoir, that's different. Okay. In our boudoir, we are trying to ensure that we are trying to ensure that there is a median together. All right. There's an equilibrium. Okay. But if we're just like in the kitchen, that's different. You see what I'm saying? Okay.
He said we just in the kitchen right now. And get the spoons. Bring that
Okay.
spoon over here.
All right. If we're just under boss man's desk, that's
Bruh.
you know what I'm saying. All right.
Right.
All right.
He said not under the desk.
Okay. Now, but it's also important that we also ensure that we have those moments where it's just about mama as well. Come here, baby. I got you. Okay. And don't worry about daddy this time. I got you. Okay. All right. And if there are issues, if there are times, hey, incorporate the lips if you can't use the hips. All right. So hey, I'm just saying. All right.
Going forward,
I'm just saying. Hey,
going forward, I would say I'm ruthless right now. The only person
Okay.
who's ruthless here is
Ladies
boss
and
man.
ladies and gentlemen, please follow Boss Man on his own OF's channel.
Hey, listen. I'm just saying, okay? Spend some time on the plate, okay? It's a good thing, okay?
It's like marinating it.
Just spend some time on the plate. That's all.
And how am I
Alright.
ruthless? Hold on. How am I ruthless when he the ruthless one?
He's
Spend
married.
some time on the plate, okay? Even if the hips work, that's fine. Alternate. That's all.
And David,
That's
to
all.
your question, he gets a freebie because he was a Marine, so he's allowed it too. So, Ray, fuck you too. Little Pee Wee. Ray,
I
you
wish
go
I
first.
Okay.
Little Pee Wee goes second. President goes third. Bossman, you go last. All right.
Okay. Sex is not love, and love is not sex. The statement, as it's been put, is accurate. I mean, they can be two totally separate things. I think that obviously you've gotten a plethora of how we kind of disagree and agree on how that's broken down. But at the end of the day, you should just not be bad at fucking. Okay, don't be bad at it. Like if you're if you're a dude and you're bad at fucking, everyone's gonna fucking know. Everyone's gonna know because women will tell. You know how you know if you're good at having sex? Women don't say shit about it. They don't say shit. They're like hipsters with the new coffee place. They want to keep you all to themselves. But if you are bad, the world will know. You'll end up on baddick.com. And then no one's going to want to fuck with you. Like, even chicks that hate you will fuck with you if you're good at fucking. I'm just saying. So don't be bad at it. Just be a considerate human. And like, also go for that 5-star Yelp review. Do the best you can with what you got. I digress.
This is the nicest panel you have ever been on.
Well, bro, why you gotta say that for the back like that? Like, what? Why?
Because you always say you're an asshole, so you're being nice for once.
I am no, because look, I'm still an asshole to them dudes who's bad at sex because they're on baddick.com. I was mean to somebody, namely the people who are bad at sex. So I did my
All
job.
right, let's see the next
did my
person
job.
up here.
I did my job.
Are you practicing for your dick mouth or what?
Why is David muted?
He's muted.
Man, he's muted.
I'm sorry. Don't let me go to your country and change demographic in 1 month. Okay, it can happen. So don't start with me. I'm just a little bit speechless because well, luckily they just dropped right now. I was like, I did not see that one coming. Yeah. Thanks for Bossman for bringing the intellectual argument to play. Sex is not love, love is not sex. I also am glad that Mr. Bennett also put his own argument in play. That is why I say you cannot say sex is love when by one, someone could do it for love, someone could do it without love, and someone could do it in the form of addiction. And both my intellectual and art used for different purpose. But in the right way, it could be blessed. It could be right. It could be a blessing, or it could be a scourge in disguise, depending on how you look at it. And I think this is something that I've been aware of for so long. When I was mentioning about coffee conversation, I'm not talking about on your first date. It's after you get to know the person, you have that interest in that individual. You want to continue to have that conversation to pick more of that person's mind, to see who that person is before you go on an act. What used to be the thing of the past, which have been long. I think where we are right now at the society, at it, there need to be a rollback or be a complete detox because these days right now we jump into the deep end without knowing what the hell we getting ourselves into. And based on this conversation, how we dissect these factors, it proved my point why I say what I say. I'm not into no rush, but I need to find someone who I can intellectually meet on the same level, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Not everybody on that same plane. Not everybody have got to a high level of self awareness and self reflection. Too many people are stuck up in their bullshit. But when you tell them the hardcore truth without no filter, they either want to call you out or say something really stupid. Today, a nice conversation we had that I think this should be a foundational conversation to move the ladder or move the turning point whereby do not act on something question. Did they do their homework before they met that person or not? And what are the agreements they made before they became an item? Because we've been having these relationship conversations for a while, and this is the first time I see someone even break it down on a scientific term that need to be understood clearly. Because it applied to both sides. And I know that both about men are confusing. No, women and men are both confusing. You want to take the time out to sit down and tell how they really are as an individual. We're spending too much time gaslighting one another and wonder why we get betrayed or backstabbed. But when you have a person who's being genuine and you decide to be fake as hell, you can't get mad and shit happen to you. So I would say this right off the back. If you're not careful, have the conversation first before you open your goddamn legs. Be aware of who you're dealing with. If you cannot have that conversation, then don't get mad when you get burnt. Because that is on you. You got too many adult male and female, not enough men and women out here. To because you're 20 or 30 or 40, if you're going to make you a man, you're still an adult male. But if you have a solid level of awareness and self-reflection, then I can't call you a man or I'll call you adult male or female or I'll call you a tattoo baby. Any of the three. You cannot get married because what you put out there. Other than that, I enjoyed the conversation. So no, I'm not a bully. I'm just being real. If you don't like it, then you're not on the same level with me. You're below me. That's my thought.
Well, one thing we didn't talk about tonight was, and I've talked about this in the past, but I don't think this is a fair conversation to have in some respects until we change the conversation in terms of how we teach and educate our daughters about sex and women in general about sex. And I think certainly religion is, as I've said in the past, I think religion has had a lot to do with this, the miseducation of women, not to look at sex as not only a right, as a healthy, normative portion, especially in relationships. And I think until that conversation changes, I don't think we can really have a lot of the proper conversation because sex is, I think, oftentimes too transactional in terms of how it's portrayed between men and women. So I think that's certainly the education and the end of the stigmas that we put with sex between men and women. I think that has to change before this to go on. But yeah, I just pulled up. Again a chart that we used on the gray area. Again, we used that what's this guy's I'm a butcher name, Plutchik's Wheel of Emotions. And again, love is typically built through a course of emotions: ecstasy, joy, serenity, admiration, trust, and acceptance. And I think certainly those are the building blocks of love. And I think love making or sex, I think, can certainly be powerful adjuncts to that action, particularly for people who are committed and dedicated to it. So again, if your intent is to marry, if your intent is to be in a healthy, loving, selfless relationship with another person, sex is a powerful tool for the building of that relationship and increasing the bonds. They say sex is the glue that keeps people together, and I believe that. But of course, you certainly have the freedom to have sex apart from all of that, and just look at it in a purely physical or transactional sense. Certainly that is certainly possible, but I think that people are missing something when you don't put relationships or healthy relationships at the forefront. That then amplifies and magnifies the sex that you can possibly have. But again, you have to have a certain level of trust, a certain level of transparency, honesty, okay, with that spouse, with that person. And really, what I like to describe is real nakedness. And I go back to the Bible with that because it talked about when God created Adam and Eve, that there was a point in time when they were naked and without shame. And I think the healthiest relationships have a certain level of nakedness. I'm not talking about physical nakedness. I'm talking about mental nakedness. I'm talking about spiritual nakedness, where you can truly be yourself and at comfort with it. Doesn't matter been married for years. Yes, the wrinkles are going to come. You know, the belly fat's going to come, the stretch marks, all of that. And it gets to a point where it's like, hey, you know what? Yes, there's younger, more apt people out there, but you know what? I love you, and I'm sticking with you. And you don't have to hide anything from me, just like I don't have to hide anything from you. And so intimacy, I think ultimately, is what a lot of people are looking for. And you're not going to achieve it just with sex itself. Intimacy takes time and all those things that I talked about if you want to get there. When you combine sex with intimacy, now you're onto something. And I think that's what makes it special. The act will never be special, but the person that you're with and the work and the relationship that you built is what makes it special. And I think ultimately, that's what people are looking for. It's just that they think, well, the more sex I have, the closer I'll get to it. It doesn't necessarily work that way. So I encourage people, pursue intimacy, pursue healthy relationships in your life. And I think you'll find a lot more fulfillment, even in your sex, when you pursue that course of action. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, I think I'll pick up where Mr. Bennett left off. And I think when it comes to sex, I think a lot of times people put sex first and then work their way backwards a lot of times. I think they establish the sex first and then they work and then say, how do I then establish the relationship? Versus establishing the relationship, establishing the foundation, and then using the sex as maybe the filler. So you have a foundation that's concrete, and then using maybe some plaster, maybe using some mortar to kind of come in and kind of, fix up the cracks in a sense, if you want to use that analogy. Okay. To me, a lot of times what ends up happening is we don't necessarily understand how powerful sex can be and the implications or necessarily the consequences physically, emotionally, and mentally that sex can implore or sex can entail until it's too late. But ultimately, we also fantasize, or we end up glorifying it too much, or we end up making it more of a fantasy than what it actually is, and putting more onto it than what it actually is as well. Okay, and then getting to it faster than what we should. So, what do I say? Yes, I agree with the concept that no, sex is not love and love is not sex. That is ultimately where I land, specifically because it is an absolute statement. If you can have sex without love, then the absolutist statement, as I mentioned, can then be disproven. And so with that, I think sex before love is a problem. And I think establishing and building your foundation of your entire relationship on the foundation of sex, you are already starting your relationship on rocky or sand-like foundation in the first place. Especially since as you grow older and as you grow, throughout your life, sex depletes. And then if you build your relationship upon that, then what do you have left? Nothing. If you have not built anything else with that person. So I suggest that, yes, finishing off what Mr. Bennett said, I would suggest that you build other things with that person. Yes, build some trust, build some reverence, build some respect, build some connections. Is that person your friend? Do you trust that person with your life? Would you protect that person? Would you sacrifice with that person? Would you sacrifice for that person? Is that person your everything if you had nothing? Would you cleave to that person? What would you give to that person? So that way, when you do, and if you do have sex with that person, what does it mean to you? I think that is what sex could provide to a relationship as an adage, as an addition to, as opposed to being a foundational principle, in my opinion. But as I mentioned, learn about the other person, communicate, but understand foundationally and mechanically how sex works with the other person that you are wanting to connect and cleave yourself to. Because if you don't, then sex becomes a hindrance to the relationship as opposed to being an asset. If you don't understand the fundamentals of how sex works to a man from you as a woman, then yes, you are going to be up shit's creek. If you don't know how powerful you are as a woman relative to the realm of sex, then you are going to fail in that relationship ultimately. If you don't know how powerful you are as a woman, and then you as a man, if you don't understand what power you wield as a man towards that woman, you are also going to fail. Because although it is not everything, sex is definitely powerful. Because every so often, that foundation does need to be mended, fixed. Because yes, as Mr. Bennett said, sex equals the glue. I do agree with that, but it is not the initial rebar within that foundation. So make sex the adhesive, but it is not the foundation of any relationship. Do not put the cart before the horse. Salute.
So before we move on, I want to credit Boss Man. He nailed it tonight. Thank you for coming on. And please support him on his OF's channel because he needs all the support he can get.
On my OnlyFans channel. Wait a minute.
Hey, you say you
but seriously,
nasty.
I think most of us
Right.
are somewhat on an agreement about sex not love and love is not sex. We might be some of us on this one side and the other side, but I think we all can agree it is a great practice to enjoy. Paul, I'm trying to behave here, so give me a little credit here. I haven't cursed in a couple days. So the last two shows, I've been very clean. You're
I'll
rubbing
give you
off
that.
on me, man.
I'll give you
You've
that.
been rubbing off on me, man. I
I
don't
hope
like
so.
this. So let's do a schedule update before I go bunkers here, because somebody you got me cleaning, and yes, I need a haircut. I know that.
She says this is like the barbershop talk. Oh, and can I say one more thing, by the way?
Yeah,
I
go for
also
it, dude.
mentioned something about permission and also non-consensual consent.
Consent.
Consensual
I want
non-consent.
consensual non-consent. Thank you. I keep getting mixed up. Please make sure you understand what that means. Okay. All right. Google it and make sure you understand it. All right. Don't go out here and catch no charge on Boss Man's behalf. Okay. Don't do that. Okay. All right. Consensual non-consent means that you have gotten the consent to have no consent with consent. Does that make sense, y'all? Okay. All right. I'm just saying.
All right, let's do a schedule update and get the hell out of here. All right, so Saturday we're going over Jedi Escape Survive of the Force. Ingrid should be joining us, and Mike should be joining us too. So we should have a great conversation on that one. And we are having a show in Gray Area. We will be talking about it. Me and Paul, we're going to have our little meeting and figure out what topic. I have an idea. And this is a topic you may want to join, Paul. On Wednesday, they're talking about Battle of the Planets.
Okay.
And that's one of your favorite shows. I know that. That's why I said
Okay.
you may want to join that. And next week, back here, we'll be talking about our relationships, a lot of work. Yeah, I'm going there. So, except that, Ray, anything else?
No.
Yes, reckless. That's exactly what it means. Yes. You give me permission to take it without asking, but you gonna give it.
This is what I get with having a topic like this. David, anything from your mouth?
I'm just gonna say that on Wednesday episode, Battle of the Planet, I know it's the iconic anime, but me and Wale, like we said, no anime is safe. If we got bone to pick, we gonna pick them bones.
And maybe Mr.
If you're
President will be
safe,
a special guest too.
yeah, you gonna be back together. But I want your own honest opinion on that particular anime because last episode we did, you saw what happened. It
Um,
was brutal, but we had to be honest.
Mr. President, you got anything else?
Well, hopefully this very live will take us over 500 subscribers. So I'm hoping, so ladies, whether you agree with some of the commentary that was here or not, share the content. Because I mean, for real, I mean, we trying to be as honest and transparent as possible. You may not agree with all the other views that been shared tonight, but definitely share it. Share it with some ladies and whatnot. Just get the conversation going. I think we need to have more of them, and certainly I'll be happy in any platform to have these kind of conversations and whatnot, and hope for hope that more men and women get together and have honesty and transparency with
And
each other. So
I want to follow up with that saying, if you do prescribe, please, thank you. If you're thinking about, again, thank you just for tuning in. It really helps the channel. It helps us all out. We all have a goal in the end, and just hitting the sub button, it makes the big difference for all of us. These streams are not like click, 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 and that's it. It's a lot of work behind it to get these guys organized again on the same panel. That's the hardest part. So please just hit the subscribe button. It means so much to me. Bossman, anything on your side before we go?
Oh no, I'm being put in timeout. Okay, Lady Navoa and a few others put me in timeout. I'm in timeout.
you got all the
apparently.
ladies after you tonight, man.
Okay,
I
I'm
don't
in
know.
timeout. Okay, listen, my wife
Wait.
gave me permission. Okay, listen. All right,
What is
Right.
wrong with the unfiltered?
You may have to. We may have to have a part two with him and give him and his wife
yeah.
trying to come on, and y'all can hash this out because again, yeah. But the ladies weren't feeling boss man.
You know
tonight
what?
on
That's
this.
a great idea. Can you talk to the missus?
He said
I will,
permission.
okay, I will talk to her.
information.
Okay, she will come up
Oh,
here
Lord.
with she
It's
will come
gonna
up here
get
with her chain,
scary.
with her chain. Okay, all right. Listen, okay, she gave me
It
permission.
will
All
get
right, listen.
scary.
I have one question for you, and I don't know why I have to ask this. I'm scared to ask it.
What?
Now, is she the type of woman to bring toys and webs and stuff like that to the bedroom?
I will not
Not
confirm
confirm
nor
or
deny.
deny.
All right, guys.
I
This
told you.
was the Spartan SQ Network. I am
I
the Ghost of
told
Sparta. He's
It will get
reckless.
scary.
He is Black David. I'm closing the show, David. Mr. President, Bossman, as always, stay safe, stay fresh, and I'll see you guys on the next one.